Howdy everyone, today we're going to be talking about the LAAT series, or the Low Altitude Attack Transport. It is a infantry repulsor gunship. What this basically means is it's used not only as a troop transport but also a close air support gunship. It is made by the Rothana Heavy Engineering Companies. It is 17.4 metres long, 17 metres wide, and 6.1 metres high. It weighs around 50 mglt, which I'm not entirely sure that means. But basically, it was mainly used as transport. You know, aerial-based transport. Had a variety of weapons, most of which we'll go through a bit later. It does have shielding, although not much. It has two anti-personnel laser turrets, one behind the doors and two at the front. So even though that doesn't work, there's one back here and there's two at the front here. It has composite beam laser turrets, which are these just sitting here. It also has two in the wings here, not that they work. It has a mass driver missile launcher, which is this lovely thing sitting at top. This version carries two slots of 24 proton torpedoes. The other version carries just two slots of 12. It also carries light air rockets underneath, but again, they don't work. The other thing it can carry is a droid buster, which is similar to a GBU, but an ion bomb, so it won't hurt civilians, it'll just hurt droids. Crew, it'll have one pilot, one co-pilot, and a gunner, which sits behind. It'll also have up to 4 other gunners, 2 in the turrets, 2 in the wings. Can carry up to 30 passengers and can carry up to 17 cubic meters worth of cargo. It has enough fuel for 8 hours and has what's called blast shields. Blast shields is the type of metal it's made out of, which makes it so heavy. Speaking from experience, these things defy physics. There should be no reason why these can fly, but they do. Alright, let's take you through the systems. Systems are pretty straightforward. Get out of this. Systems are pretty straightforward. Okay, like most cockpits, we have a variable of information. I'll just flip the engine on so you can see it. So we have gear, radar, altitude, climb rate, speed. So at the moment we're sitting at 38 metres above ground, or 34, you might see that in the top left. 30, oh, now it's rotating. We're at 34 to 38 metres. We've got a heading of 92, which is along the top. Radar is on, as you can see. Countermeasures, we have 400, and like I said, we have 2 slots of 24 torpedoes, which makes this an absolute death machine. Probably the worst thing about this LAAT, like I said, it's not designed to fly. So when you try and stop these things, you need to do it slowly, not quickly. Alright, let's show you a takeoff out of the hangar. So we're going to gently give it a bit of altitude. I try not to use the repulsor brake, because the repulsor brake will put you dead in the air. When you're dead in the air, you open yourself up to anti-air missiles and ground attacks and things like that. So I'm not using any throttle at this stage. I'm just letting the repulsor do all the work, and we're just gradually flying on out. This is not holding any throttle at all. So this is just its normal default hover mode. And as you see, that was quite calm, cool and collected. We'll accelerate up a bit now. Okay, so now that we're out of the hangar, I can show you some more of its capabilities. So down the left, when you look at my HUD, you'll see the 160, 163, 167, 170 now. That is our speed. On the right hand side, you'll see a little arrow that keeps moving up and down. This is our climb rate. So as I pitch the nose up and down, that arrow will move up and down. So when I keep it about here, we're not gaining any altitude because it's sitting just in the middle there. Now if I was to accelerate and hold shift, that goes up. So this is what we call our climb rate. Climb rate's normally done, in this case it'd be meters per second. Usually it's done in feet, but you know, Star Wars is awesome and uses meters. Right, so weaponry countermeasures are done by pressing C, and you'll hear computer noise come up. This is an electronic countermeasure. It's not too dissimilar to chaff, but instead of a visual chaff coming out of the back of the LAAT, it's an electronic countermeasure. So this electronic countermeasure will interfere with anyone trying to get a lock, also any missiles trying to get it engaged. Now the downside about these LAATs is they're not exactly made for aerial combat. They don't handle very well. So if you ever do get a radar contact of any vulture droids or even a hyena bomber, you're best to hightail it out of there and try and make it back to a hangar or get it on the ground. Now the downsides of these, if I was to turn the engine off, we would drop like a rock. Like I said, they are not aerodynamic, they are incredibly heavy and they are not made for gliding. So if you do lose your engines, try and find water or an open field, because you're going to drop. You're going to have no gliding. What else can I tell you about this? When it comes to flying a LAAT or LAAT, it's all about small, precise movements. Don't ever hold a button down. Don't ever mash controls, otherwise you're going to spend your whole time just correcting what you've just done. Everything's about a slight movement. Just tap everything. I'm not holding shift at the moment. We've got a nice cruising speed of about 250 k's. That's all you would need for either CAS runs, recon. That is a comfortable cruising speed. If you really wanted to get faster, you would hold the throttle and dip the nose, like any other real helicopter, really. So you just dip the nose a bit, and as you can see, our climb rate's still quite level. We're not gaining any altitude, and gained another 100 k's. But again, there's not much need for that. Alright, so we'll go through landing now. Now I'm going to take this back to the acclimator and land it in there. I recommend that whilst you're getting used to the controls of the vehicle, you give yourself plenty of room. Some of these open fields here is more than sufficient. When landing, you want to use slow movements. So at the moment, I'm just tapping Z and gently lifting the nose, and that's just gradually slowing us down. So as you can see, my climb rate, you know, I haven't climbed much further than 100 metres. And as you can see, I can still see the horizon quite clearly. And I'm just tapping Z and we're slowly slowing down. No repulsor brake, nothing like that. I'll just mark the acclimator so I know where I'm going. We're on course anyway. So there's the acclimator. And we'll land on the, I believe that's starboard side. We'll just come in now. They're very detailed models. This is the Rancor LAAT out of the communications, community mod set. So it fires rockets a bit slower, this one, but you have more of them, so you can do a few more runs. Now, as you can see, again, I haven't tapped Z, I haven't tapped shift, and I've just slowed right down to 60 k's. No repulsor brake, no nothing, and we're at a comfortable approach speed. And when we get closer to the hangar, I'm going to do what we call rotating. Rotating is when we use the rudder, which in my case is Q and E. And what that will do is it will turn the LAAT without dipping either wing. What it will do, however, it will want to keep moving forward. So we counteract that by dropping the right wing down. So I'm going to be tapping E and D around the same time. So I'll dip the nose a bit more. Well, in this case, actually, I'm not going fast enough, so now I'm going to dip the left wing. So we dip the left wing down, put the nose down a bit, and now we counteract it. And that's put us on a perfect approach. And then we straighten up. Pull the nose up a bit. Again, I'm not touching shift, I'm not touching Z. This is all nice and slow. Like I said, it's all about precise and nimble movements. Don't ever hold a button down to get what you want out of this, because you'll end up with an adverse reaction. The LAAT will just jump on you. Alright, so we move into place. This is probably the easiest way to do it. Hover above where you want to be, which is here, and then give yourself a bit of a rotate again. Okay, now we reverse it back. There you go, kids, and that's landing a LAAT. Remember, when touching the ground, you want to do it as slow as possible. You don't want to do anything too hastily or too quickly. You just want to do it nice and slow. Alright, as I hop out the LAAT, I'll show you some of the other gunner seats. So, as you can see, this is the back here. The back can actually be used to shoot from. I just got to find the sweet spot. If it'll let me. Don't think it wants to let me. Right in back. There we go. Alright. So when you've got enough people, you can actually shoot out of this. The people that sit on the edge can shoot out. So it is handy in that way as well. The ball turrets. Come around here. We'll go on the left ball turret. So the ball turret here, if it wants to do it for me, no, it doesn't really want to do it. So the ball turret just turns in and out. Now it doesn't actually work like a laser. I'll need the engine on for it to work. But yeah, it doesn't actually work like a normal laser would, like in the movies. It is just a straight shot like a blaster rifle, but still very handy. Not a bad thing to have. Now, the co-pilot's position, or the gunner position. This is a fairly important job. I'll just take controls, and I'll turn the engine back on. Now, there's going to be a fair few displays come up at this stage. So, as you can see, I've got all the displays that I had as a pilot. And the reason for that is because if the pilot is ever unconscious, or something goes wrong, the co-pilot will need to take control. And this is a perfect way to do it. So you can fly from this position, but obviously you've got a lot of blind spots. Now this is the front gun. If I lose controls. Checker won't be happy that I just destroyed all the glass on his tower, but you get the idea. So yes, this is the LAAT. I suggest you make yourself familiar with this if you wish to be a pilot, because this will be what you fly the most of. They're not flashy, but they get the job done. And as Tiber would say, they move like a sleepy hut, so watch it.